Okay, we're going to do a quick practical demonstration of using events in our game. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going back to my scene. I'm still in the RPG here. Let's save that. And we still have our little hero here. Let's simplify things just a little bit. I forgot I left my weapon 2 in place here. So I'm going to switch that back just to weapon, which is our single coin shooting, flipping, tossing weapon here. Okay, we'll turn that back on, hit play, and we can do that. And we run around, and we have this, whoops, this is really dangerous here. Maybe I should have had weapon 2. I got killed. So there's a signpost down there you may have seen down here. There's this sign, and I had used it in another game to kind of trigger from going from this scene to another scene, but now I want to do something where that sign, I'm going to have it so that sign will trigger the enemies to all change color and freeze or something like that. All right, so I want all the enemies that are on the screen to freeze and change the color. So how would I do that? All right, so it's the sign that is going to do the work there. So the sign is going to have a trigger on it, and that on trigger, so this, if we go to the game here, let me just show you. I'll click on that. And it has a box collider 2D, and the box collider 2D is a trigger, okay? And it also has this script on there. It's called repulsor. Originally, I was going to make some things bounce off or something, but it's just called repulsor for some crazy reason. And so that is what's on that object. So this repulsor script that's on here, I have defined a type of event, and it's called my event type, and it is basically it's a delegate. We use delegates as we're talking about basically to kind of reference functions or methods as if they were some sort of data, as if they were a variable here. So we want to be able to store a call to a function in there or reference it. So we set the type. We define the type, and then we go ahead and we say, okay, now in this class, within this class, there's a static event called my event of that type. Say public static event, my event type, my event. Okay, so here I'm setting up the type, and here I'm actually creating an instance of it, which is static, so that everybody in the game can refer to this. All right. Now, the last thing I need to do in this, because this is known as the publisher here. This is the guy who's going to run the event, right? So there's a triggering event here, and I'm going to use onTrigger event to enter 2D. That could be any sort of thing. Could be a collision, could be mouse click, keyboard click, whatever. Okay, but this is going to be the triggering event, and it's going to say, okay, if the hero collides with this object, whatever this is on, and it happens to be that signpost, it's going to check. First, it's going to say if there is an event, if somebody is subscribed to this. I can just double check here, so we're just going to make sure that someone is subscribed. Sometimes I do this. I say, whoops, I'd say my event question mark dot, and this would be the same thing. This is a check for null before doing the invoke. And so that's kind of a shorthand. I wouldn't need this if I did that, right? So I can do that. You see that often. But if I didn't have that question mark, I would just use that other version. But anyway, let's leave it like that. My event dot invoke. So this will invoke anything that's listening that has registered for that event. So now we have published event. This is going to be triggered when the hero enters that trigger. All right. So well, now we need to have some objects, some scripts, some classes subscribe to that event. So the obvious thing to do is I want my enemy AI to subscribe to that. Okay, so my enemy AI, I'm going to say on enable. So as they turn themselves on, they're going to subscribe to that event. Okay. So we're going to say, call this local action. So this is the local action or the response that I want to have happen when this event triggers. Okay. So that function doesn't yet exist. We'll put it down here. So I'll call this local action. All right, that's the local action that's going to happen in response to this event. Okay. And what's it complaining about? Show potential fixes. Name local repulse to local action. I guess didn't I just do that? Local action. All right, that's better. That was kind of weird. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This local action is going to do the following. It is going to turn the player red, or not turn, excuse me, not the player. It's going to turn the sprite that this is attached to red, and it is going to have this bool called freeze. And what freeze is going to do, let's see, I'm going to remove another bit of code that I should have. That's my problem. I always like go ahead and try to fix something else while I get distracted. Where's my runaway that I? Well, let's do this. Leave runaway for now. We'll say bool freeze equals false. Okay. And so here in my local action, I'm going to say freeze equals true. Okay. Now, before I get too carried away, I also want to do this. Because when an object gets destroyed, I want, or before it really gets destroyed, or as it's getting destroyed, I want it to remove itself from the event as well. So I don't want it accidentally kind of leaving its event subscription still around. And if you've seen, let's see, I think it was in my, when I ran over here, there were a few errors in that window, and that was because of this, because it would actually leave, you don't want to leave dangling subscriptions, right? So here on enable, so when this object becomes enabled, it will subscribe, and when it becomes disabled or is being destroyed, it will remove itself from there. So those are balanced. That's good. Save. All right, so local action right now, freeze gets set to true, and color gets set to red, and okay. So inside of fixed update, where we do all of this stuff, like it shooting and meandering and all those sorts of things, we will just say if freeze return. Okay, so it will not do anything as long as it's frozen. And just to unfreeze itself, we will also say void unfreeze. Make that a function. And we'll say freeze equals false. And how we will set it, we will just do this. We will say invoke unfreeze after, 3 seconds. Okay, so we'll turn them red, they will freeze, and they will unfreeze in 3 seconds. And I guess that normally, let's see, let's be nice about how we name things. Unfreeze, local action. Okay. So that's our unfreezing function. That's going to be called 3 seconds after our local action takes place. And our local action is going to take place in response to this event. Okay, is everything saved? Yes, they're all saved. I come back over here, I press play. Hopefully I survive. I don't get killed by NPCs immediately. Okay, reasonable. And worry about that guy. Let's come over here. And we touch the sign and everyone freezes. Their scanners still work. Oh, look at that. Oh, they must have unfroze. They didn't turn. They're still red. Huh. They're frozen again. Well, they don't freeze for long. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Fix that one bug. That one bug being that their color doesn't change back. So in unfreeze, we should say color equals, what color is color white? I believe that's the case. All right. Yeah. All right. They're frozen. Oop. They don't stay frozen long. Just like lure some over here. Come on, guy. Check it out. Here I am. That's too scary running all the way down there. Let's try it again. Let's just start the game over again so you can see it. All right, here I go. Don't freeze anybody. Ah! Ah! These guys are brutal. Freeze! Okay, so they're freezing. It happens awfully quick. 1, 2, 3. And the moment I shoot them, their color changes anyway because of the way that the color works with damage. So it might be conflicting there a little bit. But anyway, that is the idea, the simple idea to say, okay, how do you set up an event in, say, this repulsor, which is attached to something that triggers the event. So this is where the event gets defined and where it gets invoked, right? So that's the circumstance under which the event happens. And then over in the enemy AI or wherever I want to have that behavior happen, that is where I register my local actions to that event, right? So here's local action that happens in response to this event automatically. And then, of course, I have this little invoke there just to sort of unfreeze my characters. Boy, 3 seconds wasn't much. Maybe I'll say that 5. All right, let's try that again. I'm just going to play. Let's see, running. Done. Whoa. Should I have made that longer? Did I not save it? Yeah. Invoke unfreeze. 10 seconds. Let me get yourself 10 seconds. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's right. That's invoke repeating. That wouldn't be. Anyway, yeah, that should be right. Yikes. Whew, got killed too quick there. These guys are brutal. Sneaking up on them. Oh, okay. All right, hope that helps with trying some things out on your own. Give it a try. Have a great weekend. Bye.